always use a plain piece of fabric. It's just going to be easier for you to see your work, and you don't have to see, like, you know, patterns on the fabric. Try and use something plain. When we do free motion quilting, we create a quilt sandwich, and what a quilt sandwich is here's your top layer of your cotton, and then in the middle we have a piece of batting, and then on top of that we put our other piece of cotton. So basically you would have the front of your quilt, the middle, which is the batting, and then you would have the backing. Now the batting acts as a stabilizer for our stitches, so when we start free motion quilting, you always need some sort of stabilization in the center. Before we get started, I just want you to know that I have not been paid or sponsored to create this video. I love free motion quilting and I love my baby lock soprano. This is a baby lock soprano, and she actually comes with a cool quilting table. So I basically take this off, and I have this table here, and I'll just elevate the legs here. And this that you see here is a knee lifter, which I very rarely use, if I'm honest, but if you like them knee raisers, so it'll raise your presser foot up and down, or it can actually make your stitches wider or narrower. So there you go, I've raised my legs. And then I'm just going to slot this back in here. And it's really cool because it gives me a lot more space in order to do my free motion quilting. So this whole foot, the whole shank has to come off in order to attach my free motion quilting foot on. I've just taken the table off a second because we do have to lower the feed dogs for free motion quilting. So I'm going to move that dial, and then when you finish you're going to have to move it back again. So move that dial and my feed dogs have dropped. I like to use glide thread. It's totally up to you. I love glide. So in my needle I am going to have black thread for my free motion quilting. And in my bobbin, I'm going to have black thread. Don't try to use two different colours, one on the top and one on the bottom, especially if you're a beginner. It's going to be much easier for you to use the same colours. And also when it comes to the front and the back, try and use something similar so you can get away with like using the same colour thread in the front and the back. Here are the settings on my machine. I literally leave it on a straight stitch. So how to get started with free motion quilting? I bet you any money, and you can leave me a comment down below, but one of the huge issues about free motion quilting for you is that you don't know how to do the design. So I am going to get you free motion quilting just like this. I want you to bear in mind that I want you to hold or have your hands like this. I don't want you to be gripping hold of it like this. Literally just relax and have your hands like this when you are free motion quilting. Make sure there's a tail coming off from the top needle, and then you're going to press the needle down and you're going to bring it back up again, and that is going to draw your bobbin thread up. So it's always the best practice to draw your bobbin thread up. So you're going to have the thread from your needle and you're going to have the thread from your bobbin thread, and then we're just going to drop our needle down. So now what we are going to do is lower our presser foot, and we're going to hold our hands like this, and we're going to start free motion quilting, and we're going to spell out the word sewing, and you're going to do it in cursive joined up lettering. Here we go. So I have another tip for you with regards to free motion quilting. So let's think about this logically. We have taken the sewing machine's ability to sew away because we have lowered them feed dogs, because the machine naturally wants to sew using the feed dogs and the top of the needle going up and down. So you now replace the feed dogs. So your speed, your movement speed has to match with that needle going up and down. So try using different speed settings on your sewing machine to see if your free motion quilting gets any better. You might find that you need to be on totally high speed, because I find that I do. I have to have the machine all the way up, cranked up to the top, in order to be successful at my free motion quilting work. So always bear that in mind. You've got to match your speed with that needle going up and down, and you will be so much better at free motion quilting. Trust me. So I bet you spelt out the word sewing, didn't you? Well, this is exactly what free motion quilting is. Look, this is like a curve, like you would do in a meander, and this is a loop. The E here is just a loop. And if you've seen, we've just done, it's basic free motion quilting work. And I've done a circle here, and then I went round and I just did loops as I went round on the G. So can you see how easy that is? So the only difficulty that you're having right now with free motion quilting is the fact that you don't really understand how to draw the design that you want to draw. So start with words. Spell out your own name. Let's spell out Cassie. So I'm going to spell out my name in free motion quilting. I want you to spell out your name in free motion quilting. Let's go. This is the front of my free motion quilting, and this is the reverse of my free motion quilting. I never ever struggle with tension on this machine. I swear, with a little bit of practice, you are going to be such an expert at free motion quilting. That's all it requires, practice. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I always answer all my questions, and please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.